Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. My name is Uriah Mbami Daniel. And
Okay.
yes, I have. I think I was the first person you used my account um to resolve the issue of seeing the courses on the website.
Oh, that was you. Hey,
Yes, I'm the one.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So what do you do? Are you a student or an NYC? You're still serving your stuff?
Yes, I am an ex-copper. I registered while I was still serving.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. It's pretty much.
Thank you
Um,
very much.
how has how has the learning been so far? How has the portal, the platform been? How has the content and everything? How has it been so
It,
far?
it's actually been fun because the courses provided are self-explanatory. except for except for that video on the clean function. I couldn't find a practical example on it, so I'm still like trying to get it on my own. But it's actually been fun, seriously.
Okay. Have you checked out the text to column method too?
Yes, I did that. I did that.
And
I
that's pretty much how clean function works.
did that. So I think so far the text to column is the text to column function that I think is the best one for me to do because it has more options to like clean the data and arrange them in columns as expected. So I think I don't have issue with that anymore.
Yeah, the text to column is actually almost everyone's favorite. If you are almost every data analyst favorite because it is pretty much straightforward and you would know what you want to do whenever you want to do it. And it is always applicable when you are doing what do we call it now? When you are you're trying to clean your data and the data is scraped from so many sources. Whenever the data
Okay.
is scraped from so many sources, text to column tends to do the job perfectly sometimes, or in most cases. So there are some rare cases that you are going to need the clean function. I just make sure I included it in the I just make sure I included it in the course content because it may come in handy too. Sometimes it will
Okay.
come in handy too. So that was why I had to include it. Yeah, so
All right,
that
but since the class haven't started, I actually have one question I wanted to ask when after the class today, but I think let
no,
me
the
just
class
ask.
is in progress now. The class is in progress. I can attend to your questions. So please go ahead.
Okay, the question is actually somehow not relevant, but it's quite relevant. I want to ask if you are going to teach us about Power Query.
Power Query. Yes, Power
Yeah.
Query is inside Microsoft Power BI. There's no data analytics without Power Query.
Okay. All right, that's just the question I wanted to ask.
There's no Power Query without there's no data analytics without Power Query.
All right, I think that's all I have.
Power Query. You are still going to get there, but if I am to give a brief about it, Power Query is more like the back end of your Microsoft Power BI. It is where there are three processes to data transformation in as a data analyst. Like one of the most common terms we always use is the ETL, which is the extract, the
Uh,
transform, and the load. The extract
yes.
is when you bring your data set from a particular source and you bring it to your Power BI. The
Yeah.
transform is basically your Power Query. The transform is your Power Query, and then the load is when you just load it to Power BI and then you begin your analysis and your visualization. So definitely, you are still going to come across Power Query.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So is there anyone now the class is in progress, and like I've always said, the duration, the length of the class is going to be determinant on the number of questions that we have from people. Yeah, so that being said, if there's anyone that has any, or if there's any question you have probably during the time of learning and all, please, this is the time to bring them forward. Let's trash them out together and let's provide clarity together. In one of the things that is common about me, and one of the benefits of being a teacher is that I always get to learn too. I rarely hold a class without learning. I always pick up one or two things. So which means knowledge is a universal stuff and it is not limited to anyone. So I gain from you, you gain from me. And I'm looking forward to, learning some new things that I myself might not really know before. And if there's also as a data analyst, yeah, there is always something new to learn. And the fact that um, the fact that you have a method to solve a problem does not mean another method cannot be used to solve the same problem. If I give 10 data analysts, a professional data analyst for that matter, I give them a single data set and I give them the same task to evaluate, I can assure you that 10 of them might not come in in the same direction, but they are going to arrive at the same destination in terms of the conclusion, which means if one method works for someone, another method might work for someone else. The most important thing is just to get the job done. So that is why I said for those that have prior knowledge about what data analytics means, Microsoft Excel, Power BI, SQL, this course is going to be validating everything you know before and also be adding new knowledge to it. And also, the course is also going to demystify some of the things you think you've known before and then open your mind to another perspective about how it can be used and it can be done again. So, if there's anyone that has any question, please kindly raise your signify and let us know so that we can just trash it out together. Anyone, please, before we proceed. And okay, in the absence of none, there are some practice assignments that is meant for every one of us to do based on the current stage that we are. Based on the current stage that we are. Oh, please, can everybody hear me? Please, if you can hear me, please signify so that I will know I am communicating. Okay. Okay, good. Thank you. So the practice assignment that we are going to be doing this morning, this is the typical dashboard for everyone. This is how your dashboard is going to be for everyone, right? If you are opening that is why we said it is advisable that you access the platform with your PC, not your you might be getting limited features with your phone, but for you to have a full experience of the platform, of the course and of the learning, try and make use of your PC because there is no digital course, there is no tech skill without PC, without your personal laptop or also a desktop. So this is your dashboard. Just come to my courses. So on my courses, you find your course data analytics. And under data analytics, this is the progress of this particular account so far. This is the progress, data cleaning. So I will just come to this edge here where data analytics is. click on data analytics, and I will scroll down. I'll come to curriculum here, this curriculum here, and then I'll scroll down. Then I'll see exercise files. See the exercise files. So you click on the drop down, and then you will see every one of the materials, the course materials that is going to be used for this course. Yeah, and you come and download your practice assignments. Download your practice assignment. It is going to be in a zip file. This practice assignment here, it's going to be in a zip file. So when you extract the practice assignment, when you extract it to your PC, you are going to see employee payroll, you're going to see additional VLOOKUP practice, you're going to see average ifs, you're going to see count ifs, index match, nested if, salaries, and some ifs too. You're going to see every one of those data sets. And also you are going to see a PDF that is called exercise or exercises. So having download that and having haven't done the extraction. So let me share my screen so that everyone can see. Okay. Yeah, right. So these are the exercises for the these are the exercises for the so these are the exercises that will be solved using every one of those data sets that you just extracted on your PC. Now, the first one we are going to be dealing with this morning is the employee payroll data set. This employee payroll data set here. So all of the assignments have been built in such a way that it's not good. We are not going to limit ourselves to business analytics only. So let's say, for instance, if you come across, or if you are lucky enough to get a freelance or a gig, or even a job, a role, as maybe you're not working in business related, maybe you are working in academics related. So that is why I have also included a different kind of data set, a university biodata data set on this, so that it can be used for a practice assignment, so that whenever you come across something like that, it's not going to be strange or new to you. So in that regard, this is the first one we are going to be dealing with, and these are the questions that needs to be solved using that using this data set. But also I have also included the questions directly into the worksheet. So it is either you check out the questions here on the worksheet, or you check it out on this PDF here. They are both the same thing. So, but in the real world, in the real sense, sometimes the request or the task might not get to be broken down completely like this, the way I've done. So you should always be prepared for the challenge. So the first one that we are going to be dealing with is this particular data set. And just like we've learned in our named ranges or data set, introduction to data set, where we get to convert our data set to table. All right, so if you want to deal with something like this, based on what we've learned so far, the task that has been given to us to be solved about this particular data set is we are going to be using VLOOKUP. Yeah, we are going to be using VLOOKUP. lookup, and also some if function too. A little bit of if function, by the way. So the first question we are going to be solving is use VLOOKUP formulas to bring in the first and the last names of employees in the raw data extract section. Use VLOOKUP formulas to bring in the first and the last names of employees in the raw data extract section. And then if we look at this place too, yeah, the first exercise is in this practice exercise, you are asked to add the first and the last name of the employee to a pay report. You will need to use the employee ID to VLOOKUP the name columns from another table, so you don't have to manually type out all the names. Like I have rightly mentioned that the essence of Excel or learning about advanced Excel or even learning about tech per se is automation. Is automation in such a way that you would be able to computer will be able to automate tasks for you automatically, even if you are working with data set that is as big as thousands. If you are working with a very big data set, making sure you get the first one right, and then Excel is going to take care of the rest for you. So, which is basically automation, and that is what we are after. And one of such case is this VLOOKUP function. Is this VLOOKUP function, and we have been asked to use VLOOKUP function to like solve this particular problem. But I want you to imagine it that what if it is in a case whereby you have a very, very large data set, something that is even bigger than this. I think this is just around 20 or 30 or so. Let me see. Yeah, 30. This is about 30 or so. So the first question says, from this raw data extract, we have been asked to use our VLOOKUP function to bring in this last name here to make sure it is here using what we have. Remember, VLOOKUP is using what you have to get what you don't have, to look for what you don't have. VLOOKUP is using what you have. Sorry about that network interruption, please. MTN is just acting funny this morning. Can you guys hear me? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so if you have a data set like this, the first question, we should use our VLOOKUP formula to bring in, this first name here, and then the last name too. We need to bring it here. Now, there is something we call primary key. You are still going to see it as you progress further in the course, because primary keys are very, very important. Now, in every data set, you should always look out for what we call primary key and foreign keys. Primary keys are those columns. Primary keys are those columns that they are found in almost every table or every data set you're going to be working with. Yeah, there will always be one column that will stand out. And in this case, it's our employee ID. And the reason, in most cases, your foreign key, your primary key, the primary key that you should always be looking out for is any column that is unique. Like that is unique, that it is not common or it is not similar to the rest of the columns. It is, as a matter of fact, it is an identifier for the rest of the columns you have on the data set. That is one of the best ways of recognizing or identifying your primary key. For instance, we have these two tables here. We have these two columns. We have the employee ID and we also have the pay column. Now, one of the reasons why you can't even use your pay column is that it is pretty much possible for 2 or 3 or more than one of these employees here to be earning the same pay. So which means there is nothing unique about this column anymore. You can see the same amount, the same salary in this place, which doesn't make it unique anymore. So but in this place, in this employee ID here, you can never find an employee, you can never find two employees using the same identity. It's just like our matriculation numbers or this our NIN or even our phone numbers. No matter how common a phone number might look, a mobile number might look, it can never be the same with someone else at a particular time. It is always unique. And it's the same thing as our fingerprints too. You can never find, out of the about almost 10 billion people in the world, there is nobody, absolutely nobody that has the same fingerprint as you do. Both fingerprint and the eye lens contact. I don't know if I am right. If there's any professor in this class that can correct me for that, but I am pretty sure about the fingerprint, but I'm not really so sure about the eye lens contact. But I'm sure about the fingerprint. So for that case or for that matter, yeah, so it makes your employee ID to be the standout column, and it's going to be serving as your primary key in this case. So anytime you have a data set from any client and you're trying to look out for your primary key, start with if there is any column that has to do with ID. The moment you see an ID column, it is your best bet to be your primary key because IDs are always unique. There can be people, there can be multiple people that is going to be, you can have more than one people, I mean, that will have the last name Doe. But they can never, all of them, even if they are 5, they cannot have the same ID. You can have about 5 Smiths on this data set, but all of them cannot have the same ID. If they're having the same ID, that means that is going to be giving you room for your remove duplicate. For you to remove duplicate, all you have to do is just to check across the whole data set to see if they are all carrying the same information. If all the columns are carrying the same information, then you can use your remove duplicate and remove duplication from the data set, which is also one of the data cleaning processes. So in this case, we are going to be using what we have, which is basically how VLOOKUP works, what we have to get what we don't have. And because this pay is not unique, we have to use a column that is unique. And in this case, it is employee ID. Now, the first step to solving this is to convert your raw data set, raw data extract, you convert it to table to make it easier for you. For some people that knows what they are doing, if you are, you feel like you are confident enough, you might not need to convert it to table. But for the sake of automation in the sense that when you do the first one here, Excel will do the rest for you automatically the moment you hit enter on your keyboard. For that sake, then it is advisable you convert your data set to table. We can still solve it purely without converting it to table. And how do we do that? Let's do it without converting it to table first. So the first person is using our VLOOKUP. We're going to say equals VLOOKUP. And then we follow the VLOOKUP parentheses. The first parenthesis of VLOOKUP is the lookup value. What value are you trying to look for? I'm looking for this first employee here. Employee with the employee ID 990678. Then our comma. Then my table array. Table array in VLOOKUP is the range, the old table that I want to search this information from. And in this case, this is our table array here. So I'm going to select everything from A3 to C16, the whole data set, the whole table, comma. Then what is the column index number? The column index number of my first name That is the number, which number did my first name column attained or is positioned on my raw extract data table. And if I count, this first employee ID here is my column 1, my last name is my column 2, my first name is my column 3. And this time around, I am asked to return my first name. So which means I am going to be, my column index number is going to be column 3 for first name. I hope we all understand as this is going. Then comma, then you come to the last stage of the parenthesis. Excel is asking you that, do you want me to look for anyone that their ID starts from 99067, even if the person is 679, you want me to give you an approximate, anyone that looks like 990 or anyone that their number starts from 990. That is the case of using this approximate match. That is the case of using this approximate match. Or do you want me to find you the exact person, the exact first name of this exact person, the exact employee with 990678 ID? Yes. So in most cases, whenever you are using your VLOOKUP, in most cases, there are going to be cases where you are going to be using approximate match, which we are still going to be practicalizing this morning. So this time around, it is our false. We want our exact match. So I'm going to select false, and then I'm going to close my brackets, and then I'll hit enter. So we can see that employee with 990678, the first name of that employee is Brad. And if we look at this data set here, we can see that 990678, the first name is Brad. And then we can just come back here and then double click on our table. And then we can see, but Excel is now telling us that there are some of these things that are unavailable. There are some of it that I cannot figure out. They are not available. This is where it is now preferable for you to use your table function. For you to use your table to convert your data set to table before proceeding to something like this. So that is what I'm going to be doing now. So I'll have to come back to my raw extract data, select any cell inside that raw extract data, and then press your Control A. Control A, and then Control A will select everything. Control A will select everything, and then my Control T is going to turn it to table, and Excel is going to ask you, do you want to create table here? Does your table have ZDAS? Yes, my table has ZDAS, employee ID, last name, and first name. So I'm just going to hit on OK directly. And then I can come to, the moment I turn this particular data to table, I get an additional column. I get an additional ribbon tab on my tabs. So if I select inside the data set, I have table design tab. If I select outside it, the tab disappears, which means the tab is specifically meant for this table. So I'm going to come to the table design, then I'll come to the properties here on this left-hand side. Then I'll rename the table, anything that I want, anything that I can help me remember. So this time around, I'm going to, I can name it data. Let me name it data or data set. Let me put it data set, and then I'll enter. So which means this whole table is now going to be answering as data set. So I can come back. I can also, for the sake of automation, I can also convert this table that I want to work on. I can also convert it to table. So press my Control A, press my Control T, and then click on my OK. So which means the moment I get the first one and I hit enter, the rest is going to be filled for me automatically. It relieves you stress, it saves you time, and it makes you a professional. So I will just say equals VLOOKUP. My lookup value is my employee ID here, which is on F4, column F4. Then my table. Now, from which table do I want to look for this particular employee ID? I want to look at it from the table that I just created that I named data set. So I'm going to say data set. Then I'm going to select it, comma. Now, what is my column index number? My column index number for my first name is column number 3. Column number 3 in the sense that if you are counting from here, from this employee ID is column number 1, last name column number 2, first name column number 3. So, and then I'm going to select exact match, and I'll close my bracket and hit enter. Then you can see the moment I hit enter, the rest does itself automatically because Excel can relate with the rest of this. Excel can relate with the rest of it. And then the same way, in the same vein, I'm going to be doing my last name. So I'm going to say VLOOKUP, just like I did for here, F4, that is for my first employee ID here. My data set. My column index number for last name is what? Column number 2. Then I'm going to be using the false match. And then I will close my bracket. For every bracket you open in Excel, you have to close them. So now close. And I can see that employee 830385 is Prince Williams. If you check from here, yeah, 830385 is William Prince. Is William Prince. So I hope we all understand this. I hope we all understand how this works now. Is there anyone that doesn't understand this? Okay. So then there is a second part of the question that says, find out who is the highest and the lowest earner on this list of employees. Find out who is the highest and the lowest earner on this list of employees. And the way to do that is just come. There are so many ways you can do this, by the way. There are a couple of ways to do this. The first one is, we know that the best column that can help us to figure out who is the highest earner and the lowest earner is the column that has to do with currency or pay, which is actually the determining column for this particular table, or the essence of this particular job or task is our pay table. So one way to know who is the highest and the lowest earner is for you to select on this this particular column here. Hold your Control and Shift and press down, and then you come to your Home tab here. Then you come to your Sort and Filter. If you want to see it from the highest earner to the lowest earner, then you are going to choose largest to smallest. If you want to see from the lowest earner to the highest earner, then you will choose your smallest to largest. So let me choose my smallest to largest. Then you can see that the lowest earner here is Tiger Woods with $64,757. And the highest earner is Tony Stark with $190,024. $190,024. So with that, I can just select the two columns and make them bold, Control B, to signify that this person. So, and another, you have to make sure you indicate what you're actually doing. So in that case, I'll just come to a neutral cell, and then I'll write something like I'll provide an insight to what I have just done. So I'll say insights. Then I would just type a little explanation on what I've done so far. That the highest earner, in this company is Tony Stark. Tony Stark is Tony Stark with a pay of $190,000. $190,000, 024. Then, while the lowest earner in the company is that's the Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods with a pay of $64,000, 757. Voila. You are done with your insights, because it is very, very important as a data analyst to provide an insight to every of your analysis, your reports, your dashboard, and everything like that for clarity purpose. For clarity purpose. So that is that about the first exercise there. So let's go to the second exercise here, exercise 2, which is something similar to what we've done before. So the same question, use VLOOKUP formula to bring in the last name, the city, and state of employees in the raw data extract section. Now, this time around, I want somebody to volunteer. Is there anyone that can volunteer to solve this for us based on the understanding of what we've done previously? Is there anyone that wants to volunteer that can solve this for us? Is there anyone? Just unmute yourself and lead us. Hello? Is there anyone that can volunteer based on your understanding of what we've done previously? Are we shy? Is everybody shy? Okay. Okay.
I want to ask a question actually.
Okay, I'm listening. After you are done asking your question, Amina, you are going to be solving this for us. Okay, proceed.
Sir?
Please proceed.
This from the first range, that's the one that has the last name and the first name. No, not this one. In the new exercise 2, that worksheet. Yes. You know, in this second one, that's the pay reports range. Okay, I've seen it. I wanted to ask that I didn't see a column with the city names, but as you scroll down, I saw it.
It is always very important for you to be conscious and be aware of, number one, the client that you are working for. Learn 1 or 2 things about them. After doing that, your next best thing is to study your data set, study your whole Excel file that is sent to you. And by doing that is checking everything that needs to be checked. Scroll down, scroll up, study every column, every cell, and understand what they are all about. So if you had scrolled down, you would have seen it. Okay. So, Amina, can you please unmute yourself and just give us an idea of what we need to do here? The question is pretty simple and straightforward, just like what you've done in our exercise 1 here. So we are asked to use VLOOKUP formula to bring in the last name, the city, and state of employees in the raw data extract section. And then if you look at the first table here, we have the last name and the first name. We don't have city there. But if you scroll down in the second table, we have city and we have state. And we can see that we have a common primary key to the three tables. A common primary key to the three tables, which is our employee ID. So you have the floor now. Just tell
Good
me.
morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Okay, first of all, you're going to turn that raw data extract number 2 to table for it to be easier to
Which one?
do
Both the two or just one?
Both.
Okay. Press my control A.
But okay.
Continue. Don't let me
Okay,
stop.
the question says we should extract the state. Please, can I see the question again? Okay, the last name.
So that you can see it. Can you see it? Is it big enough?
Yes, it's okay. Last name, city, and state. But please, can you scroll up? I'm using my phone. My laptop is dead. This column that you did now, there's no state there. Like the next column, we're asked to extract 3 columns: states, last name, and city.
And
but this
that is the question someone just asked now. And I scrolled down and showed the person that we have 2 tables actually. One contains last name and first name. The second one contains city and state. So how do you go about it?
Okay, have you turned it? Okay. After turning it table, then you call on your VLOOKUP function.
One by one. Calm down. I know you know it. Let's calm down. So let me turn it to table, pressing my Control T, enter. And then is there a name you would like us to give to this data for it to be very easier for us? So we have to rename this particular table though. So let's name it let's say extract 1. Let's name it extract _1. Yeah. Let's name it, and then let's proceed. Or is there anything you would like me to do before we proceed? Is there anything else?
No.
Okay. So
Sorry, I think I see something.
Okay.
In that pay reports range, I think the state column is missing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we have to extract 3.
That is your job as the data analyst to figure that out.
And that's what I'm saying. Like,
it's not everything that is going to be.
It right.
Okay, what? You said what?
We are all solving it right. So you're supposed to add the state. So we extract it from that.
You tell me what to do, then I will do it. You are the one teaching the class today. Sure you get. So
me?
On this particular assignment, calm down now. On this particular practice, you are the one that is going to lead us to it. So anything you ask me to do is what I'm going to do.
Okay.
Let's continue.
Okay, so are you okay? Then second table, turn it to the second data. You turn it to table as well.
Okay. Then we can call this extract 2. So next.
So we'll go to the first cell, yes, that one. Then we'll call on the VLOOKUP function equals to VLOOKUP.
Okay.
Then the lookup value. The F4. No, sorry, yeah, F4. The first cell. Yes.
Are you sure it's F4?
Yes.
You are very, very sure it is F4?
Yes.
Okay. Our table.
Then the table array is what's the name again? Extract 1.
Extract 1. Okay.
Then the column number is 2.
For last name, okay.
For last name, yes.
And
then false. Exactly. Then close your bracket.
Close my bracket. I'll hit enter. And then I can just, since I have not converted this to table, that is why
table. Yeah, that's true.
I can just double click and then
let's check if it's correct.
Okay, let's check if this is correct. Employee 990,678. Let's go and find who the person is. 990,678. The first name is Pete. Yeah, so I think the last name is Pete, so we are correct.
So for the city,
Okay.
we'll call on okay, let's turn this one to table as well. This pay report. So it's just come up when you
Very good. Thought you'd never ask. So let's call it pay.
pay. Yeah. Pay.
Emmanuel, you are saying something that F3. I don't understand. Can you clarify? Can you unmute yourself and clarify that, please? Hello, Emmanuel. Okay, let's just continue. Let's continue.
Okay. So we go to the first cell, just like the other one.
Okay.
Then we'll call on the VLOOKUP function. Because VLOOKUP. Then lookup value is the first one, same F4.
Okay.
Then table array is okay, we're looking for the city now. Then table array is the second table. What's the name again? Extract 2.
Extract 2.
Then the column number. Please, can you swipe down? The city, right? Okay. 2. The column number is 2. Then
That much.
false, yeah. Then close bracket.
So we can find out that Pete with the employee ID 990,678 is from Austin City. And then Williams is from Chicago, Stark is from Austin also, Manning is from Columbus, while Elway is from Tampa Bay. Now, I'm not sure we are still done with the whole task. We are still missing state. So how do we go about state too?
So you add, insert another column. That's another, another column, state. Then you leave the state.
How do we insert?
Okay, you click on that. Yes, this one. Then the options. You see insert.
So which one?
Yes.
Insert.
Yeah, insert. Yes.
Okay. What else?
Name it as state. The column 1, change it to state.
Going to become senior data analyst in no time. I'm enjoying this. Yeah.
So okay. Then we'll call on the VLOOKUP function again.
Okay, our lookup value
is the first one, F4 as well.
Our table.
The table array, the extract 2.
2.
Please,
Then
can you then our column number?
Even without me scrolling up, yeah. You have studied your data set as a data analyst. You know the number of columns you have in your data. You know the previous one you did was on column 2. And you only have 3 columns in the data
columns.
set.
Okay, this one will be 3. Number 3.
It shows you've gotten yourself acquainted with what you're doing. Then close brackets.
Okay, yeah.
So which means we have the complete information of these employees. So we know that Pete is from the state of Texas and in the city of Austin. So this is how to go about our VLOOKUP. This is how to go about our VLOOKUP. Please, excuse me for a couple of minutes, please. Okay, guys, sorry for that short break. Okay, Lovina is asking that why are we adding false to all of them? It is not constant. Like I said, what false does is that if you look at the range lookup, false is the range lookup. For instance, let me clean yeah. So the moment I click on my comma, column index number is 2, and then now we have two options. We have true and we have false. What true mean is that, okay, if I have an employee that their number, their ID starts from 990, maybe the only difference between every one of the rest of the employees that their number starts from 990 is the last three numbers. Let's say the next employee is 990676, 990675, and so on. And you want to use your VLOOKUP in such a way that you are going to you just want anyone that their employee ID starts from 990. Then you can choose your approximate match that just give me anyone that their employee ID starts from 990. It doesn't matter if the ID is exact. It doesn't matter if it is exact. But this time around, you can't use approximate because you know the person you're looking for. You know the exact ID you are looking for. You know the complete ID. You are very sure of it. So that is why in most cases we are always using exact match whenever we are using VLOOKUP. Do you understand what I mean now, Lovina?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Okay. So thank you very. Okay, in that case, you are going to be
So
the
I
one.
have a second question, please.
How about what?
Please, I have another question. Another
Okay.
question, please.
If you are done
The
asking
other,
your question, if you are done asking your question, you are going to be the one that will lead us to do this third one. So continue.
I'm asking questions because I'm trying to understand what you're doing.
Yeah, I know. Just an attempt, really. Don't worry.
Okay, so what I'm saying, first of all, you started by adding by creating a new table, like a whole table.
Yeah.
I'm trying to understand because the tables are too much. Like I'm trying to differentiate them. And then the second table you created, you gave it a different name, like a new name, which is what we are working on. Like for instance, that extract two.
Yeah.
The second table you created.
The reason why we converted both of them to tables is because the informations we need to fill our task is in both tables. And we don't want to just be scrolling up and down to select the whole range of the whole range or the range that we need on each table. So we need to find a way to make sure that we just like in the case of our named ranges, if you went through the named ranges lesson very well, we said the essence of named ranges is for you to select the whole whole idea is for you to select a portion at which you need from your data set. It's for you to select the portion that you need from your data set and then give it a customized name that is going to allow you to just call on that customized name rather than having to scroll up and down or be looking for a particular information. And that is the same case of this table. We converted our data set from raw to table, and then it's because it is only a table that we can give a customized name to. And instead of us to be calling on when we get to this our table array here, instead of us to come and select this whole table here, we just call on the name that we have converted the table to, which is extract2, for easy recognition and easy call. Do you understand now?
Okay.
No, just
somehow.
Your okay sounds somehow. Do you understand it?
Yeah, a bit.
Okay. So let's.
Okay. My second question is this. Why are you using 2 instead of following the alphabet? Let's say what we are looking for is in column F.
Okay.
Why are
So
you using 2 instead of saying F this? You get?
right.
I know you said earlier that 2 means because what we are looking for is last name or something like that.
Yes.
And the last name is in the second column of the table. But then
Yeah.
it's confusing. Why are you not using B since that last name is in column B?
Okay. In that case,
Do
let
you get
me.
what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying. So, let me open our VLOOKUP material. Did you download the PDFs on the platform? Did you download the materials? Hello, Lovina. Hello.
Hi.
Did you download
So I can hear you.
the PDFs?
But not all.
You have to download every one of them. Let me reshare my screen so that you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so let me stop sharing my screen and then reshare again. Share this. Okay, so if you look at this very well, our VLOOKUP function, that is VLOOKUP allows us to look up for a value and so on and so forth like that. And then if you look at the parentheses, that is the outlines of VLOOKUP, the conditions you need to meet whenever you are working with VLOOKUP. Yeah, the first condition or the first parenthesis is the lookup value, which is commonly our F4 in this particular something that we are trying to solve. And then secondly, our table, which is our extract, just like I have said. Now, the third one, column index number, which is the main reason for your question. You said, why are we not using the column alphabets instead of using the using a number? Whenever you hear anything index, if you type your index into your dictionary, it's going to show you that index has to do with numbers, values, or just numbers really. And index has to do with something in a chronological order or in a particular order. So wherever you see your index, it means number. So in that case, we have to convert every one of these alphabets here for each of these columns. We have to convert them to their numbers. They have to answer for their numbers rather than answering for their alphabets. So column A, just like whenever you are counting alphabets, if you're counting alphabets, you know the first alphabet is A, which means A is going to be 1, and we have a total of 26 alphabets. So even if you have a data set that is stretched to about 26 columns, so you know that your column number 26 is going to be the column that is on your Z. So that is the reason why we are using numbers instead of the letters. The parentheses specifically demands we use index, column index number. So that is why we have to convert every one of these alphabets to numbers.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I understand.
All right. So regarding the download of the data set, the materials. This is the material here on the portal here. This is the material. You see it. It's Microsoft Excel course materials. This one here. If you download it, you will see this particular material here. So that being said, let's go to the exercise 3. Let's go to exercise 3. And the first, this particular one is a little bit different. Use VLOOKUPs appropriate. Now, this is something that is similar to what you just asked now, that use VLOOKUPs approximate match to bring in the pay band level for the pay range, the pay band level for the pay range. But in this case, VLOOKUP can work, and another function that we call if function is also going to fit this perfectly. Like I said, if one method does not work for you, you try another one until you are able to arrive at the task. Until you are able to arrive at the task. Now, what we are asked to do is that we should check. This time around, we are not making use of our employee ID anymore because the question is very specific. We are working with the pay range now. So which means anybody that is earning something around from, let's say, $0 to $49, they should be in level A. That is why this $25,000 is covering for the level A. And then we are moving from 50,000 to, and then we are going to be stopping at 74,000. Anybody that is earning between that range, they will be in level B. So anybody that is earning from 75,000 to 99,000, they will be in level C. Anybody that is earning from 100,000 to 149,000 will be in level D, while anybody that is earning 150,000 and above is going to be in level E. That is what is expected of us. Now, we are going to be doing this in two ways. We are going to be using the VLOOKUP function, and we are also going to be using another function that we call if. Now, so any one of it that works is what we are going to go for. So the first one I'm going to use is, let me convert this to table, Control A, Control T, enter, and then I'll rename the table as pay band. Pay band. And then let me see, let's convert this also, T. And then let me rename the table as pay report. Pay report. So I'll just say equals VLOOKUP. My lookup value this time around, I don't have a primary key. This same primary key that I've been using before employee ID, I don't have it on my pay band table. So which means I have to use a table that is a column that is similar. So I can call my pay column now. I can call it my foreign key. I can call it a foreign key. So my lookup value now is going to be this first pay here. That is F4. Then the table array, that is the name of the table, is my pay band table. Pay band table. Now the column index number. The column index number now is what? 2 for pay band. And I want approximate match. Because if I use exact match, if you notice throughout this payment here, there is none of them that is in a round up number. Every one of them is round up number, but in my own pay here, none of them is in pay round. So, and I don't have anything that has to do with 84,000. I don't have exactly 84,289. What I want to do is just something that is going to be approximate, something that is going to either be nearest in value or closer in value. So I'm going to be using approximate match this time around, true. And then I'm going to close my bracket and hit enter. So you can see now. Is there anyone that doesn't understand this particular question here? Is there anyone that doesn't understand this?
Please, can you go again, everything again, please?
Okay.
My network here was breaking.
Do you get how you understand how we renamed we converted this particular one to table and renamed it?
Yes, yes, I get the whole part. It's from the formula in using the VLOOK formula
Okay.
in the P
So
band I think it.
the formula again is VLOOKUP. Now our lookup value, we don't have an employee ID column on this pay band table. Yeah, so which means we need to make use of what is similar, something that is similar, and then we know that we have a column here that is formatted as a currency, and we also have a column that's formatted as currency here, that is they hold a currency. So we say for our first one, we just use our F4 as our lookup value, that is this first pay here. Now our table array is this new table that we've converted, which we call pay band. Now the column index number, what do we want Excel to return if it finds anyone that meets this particular target or category? Column index number for this on this particular table is column number 2. The pay band, column number 2. And then the range lookup. Now, instead of using our exact match that's like we've been using before, we can't use exact match. The reason why we can't use exact match is that if you check our pay table here, our pay column here, we don't have any one of this pay here that is as exactly as this. We only have something that is actually either close to it or far from it, like approximately. So that is why we are not going to be able to use our exact match. We have to use our approximate match. That is anyone that is close, any one of these guys here, that is close to any one of these guys here. Just return this particular band, pay band that we have set for all of them. Is that understood now? And if I click enter now, you would see that this person is earning 84,289, which is closer to 75,000 and far from 100,000. This second person is earning 137,670. It is far from 75,000. It is also a little bit far from 150,000, but it's closer to 100,000. So that is why the person belonged to level D. Is that understood now?
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Okay, another way that we can do this, if we don't want to use a VLOOKUP, is to use our if function. And the if function is a little bit technical. So you are going to be the one that will choose whichever method works for you. We call it nested ifs. Nested ifs. You are still going to also come across it for, as a matter of fact, that is what we are going to be dealing with in this week. So nested ifs. So we are going to say equals if, the first if. Now, nested if has to do with, trying to prove a logical test, trying to make a test that if this particular test that I'm trying to give you is true, then return this particular value for me. If this test that I'm trying to do is false, return this particular message for me. Now, our first logical test is that we want to check if this first pay here, if this first pay meets any one of these conditions. If it meets any one of these conditions, Excel should return one of these pay band for us. In the sense that I will say if my F4, now I'm going to be starting from the biggest one. If my F4 is greater than or equals 150,000 here, this 150,000, which is on cell A8, comma, what do you want me to tell you if this particular test is true? I want you to tell me this person belongs to level E. So I'm going to either type, let me just type level E, level E. Then instead of me to fill my value if false parenthesis, I will call on another if again. I will say if, then I'll provide another test again. If again F4 is less than or equals this 100,000 here. Or I mean, sorry, greater than or equals my 100,000 here, which is our A7. What do I want Excel to tell me? I want Excel to tell me that I'll open my quotation and I want Excel to tell me that this person belongs to level D. That is the second one. Then the third one, again, subsequently, I'll call on my if function. Then the first logical test is going to be that, as a matter of fact, instead of me using multiple ifs here, okay, let me use multiple if, then I'll use ifs function itself. So I'll say again, F4 is greater than or equals to, if F4 is greater than or equals to A6, that is, if this my first value here is greater than or equals to my 75,000, I want you, Excel, to return level C for me. And then I'll go again if F4 greater than equals A5, return it as level B. Again, if F4. Now, instead of, as a matter of fact, I don't even need to bring in another if. Then this last one, I'm going to make use of my value if false. So my value, I know that if every one of these tests is not true, if every one of these tests that I have specified here is not true, then this last one is going to be true for this last one. So for my value if false now, instead of me starting another if function, I will just say for my value if false, it's going to be level A. Then I'll close my bracket in the same amount of time, in the same amount of if that I have opened. This is my first if, it's going to be for my first bracket. Second if for my second bracket. Third if for my third bracket, and my last if for my last bracket. Whenever you are closing a bracket in Excel, if the bracket is still giving you colors, it means you are not done closing all the brackets you opened. But the moment you see the last bracket turns to black, that means you have closed all the brackets that you opened. Then if I hit enter here, this one is interesting and it did not work. Because yeah, level C is correct, but why are we having level E here? So which means this method does absolutely nothing for us. So then let's try another method again, the ifs function. Say equals ifs. The first logical test is going to be, again, we are going to start from our bigger one here. Or let's start from our smaller one. We'll say if A4 is less than or equals, if F4, if F4 is less than or equals A4, I want you to return level A. Again, for the second logical test, F4, now this time around is greater than or equals is A5. Return it to me as level B. Again, F4 greater than or equals A6. A6, return it as level C. If F4 If F4 is greater than or equals A7, return it to me as level D. If F4, no, sorry, I don't need if. And then again, oh, no, sorry. Logical test. So, okay, F4, just directly F4, greater than or equals A7, return it to me as level D. And then the last one, F4, greater than equals A8, return it to me as level E. Let's see if this is also going to work. This one is even giving us something else entirely. So which means we are going to be sticking with our V lookup. It's just a tryout to see whether they are going to work, but you are still going to be coming across the multiple nested ifs in our in the subsequent content and topics. There is a topic that is dedicated to nested ifs and concatenation also. So I want us to look forward to that. So that is it for our practice assignments. Yeah. Okay, Emmanuel said you have a question. Before we round everything, if there's anyone that also has another question, any question, please signify now before we round up the session. It's almost 12. So Emmanuel, you have the floor.
Good morning, sir. The thing is, it's not just like a question, just like an observation.
Okay.
Initially, you said for the V loop, you said if the numbers are closer to, for example, if we have our number to be closer to $25,000, we are going to have level A as our output here. So,
Yeah.
and then for the E function, you're like, if it is greater than or equals to $25,000.
Oh, yeah, I think the equals to that I'm putting there is the issue. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It is supposed to be approximate, something around that range. Thank you for that observation. You're right. Thank you. You can try out that by yourself. Try it
All
out.
right, I'll try.
Take a screenshot of your screen and drop it on the group anytime.
Okay.
Is there anyone that has any other question or observation before we end the session? I'm going to be converting the video recording of the session, and then going to be dropping the link on the group as usual. So is there anyone that has any question? Okay, in the absence of none, another set of the topics that we are going to be covering for the next week is going to be unlocked before the end of today or tomorrow, and then we are going to start it on Friday. But by this coming week and the following one, we should be done with our first stage, that is our first month, which is Microsoft Excel. And we are going to be meeting next week to divide the class. I'm going to be dividing the class to, I'm going to, like, let's say we are going to be making a group of 4 people in each group. And then I'm going to be giving a project to everyone. We are going to have our guided project together. Let's say in the last Saturday of this month, we're going to have our guided project together. Then I'm now going to give out a project for every group to work together and solve. I hope that is clear to everyone. So in the absence of no other question or anything, I'm going to bid us goodbye, and then we have a lovely weekend ahead, everyone. And thank you very much for being part of the class for today.